This is for all the people who were 13 and who didn't start out talented like all the 13-year-old amazing artists on Instagram. Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Hani if you didn't know yet, and today we're going to do something that'll make me cringe. Now if you didn't know, because it's not that often a subject of my channel, I do a lot of art, I draw a lot, I do photography and I film obviously, and I'm going to study all these things in university soon. And the thing is, I started like drawing I think at the age of around 11, which was when I started watching anime, and that kind of like led to me starting to draw a lot of fan art as well of the animes that I've been watching that time. My art was very influenced by all of that. Everybody starts out somewhere, of course, but looking back at what I drew back then, I kind of cringe right now, which is ironic because I haven't been drawing a lot since like a year or so. I'm doing a challenge right now of doing like one sketchbook page every day, which I'll turn into a video in a month or so if I keep doing that. So it's kind of ironic that I'm judging my drawing if I haven't been drawing for such a long time. No, judging my old cringe me is basically my friend sometimes, so yeah. Now I have this folder here where yesterday I sorted a lot of loose things that I drew like 5 years ago, I think. I've got a lot of other old sketchbooks, but these are just like the loose papers that I drew. This is for all the people who were 13 and who didn't start out talented like all the 13-year-old amazing artists on Instagram right now, because I remember seeing like so many people who were like, I'm 12 in their Instagram bio, and then they were drawing like amazing stuff. Well, I was not one of these people. I was one of these people that started out and I was bad at drawing, and I was bad at drawing for years. I'm still not the best. I'm still bad at drawing, I'd say. Like drawing out of the things like photography and filming and everything, drawing is obviously the thing where I'm least talented at least in my opinion. I'm still practicing, you know? I never will stop practicing. I'll never be as talented as some of those 12-year-olds on Instagram. But this is for all those people who are just like me, who started at crap, who is still crap, but you can look back at crap and say, well, at least I improved from that crap, you know? But let's just open this thing here. I don't even know where this was from. This isn't titled. Now, you can see that I was heavily influenced by anime, like if you look at those eyes and those titties. I was the biggest fairy tale fan. Like fairy tale was like my introduction, not only to like anime fandom, I would always title fairy tale the thing that led me into anime fandom. Like I had a really actually a really big Instagram fan account of Nalu, which is Lucy and Nuts in Fairy Tale, and I shipped them so hard. I was like #1 shipper. You don't understand. I was a shipper 24/7. I was on Tumblr, I was on Instagram. It was great, honestly. I had the best time of my life in the Fairy Tale fandom. I loved it, and I drew a lot of fan art. Looking back at it now is not the best fan art, but well, I tried, you know. This was for a birthday present for a friend. This is only the copy of it. She's got the original. This was drawn with Copics. Some of you who probably also drew anime fan art probably know these Copic markers, because if you start getting into manga and anime drawing, you'll eventually run into these. And I was so obsessed with these, and these are expensive. I was never like super rich, but I remember I think it was Christmas, I wished for like a 60-piece set of them or something, and it was like, it didn't arrive that Christmas, it arrived like a week after, and I was so broken because I was like, oh, I just wanted this and it's not arriving, and then it arrived and it was the best day ever. I only drew them on special occasions like birthdays and everything, but I was always so scared to draw with them because they were so expensive and I didn't want them to run out. Oh, here we got our fan art. Oh, and even the Instagram account I had back then. On Instagram I was called Nalu Couple. That was my Instagram ship name, you know, like Nalu, which was the ship name, and Couple because they were a couple, and I was so proud of that ship name. Like when I checked it and it wasn't already taken on Instagram, I was like, this is gonna be my thing. And it was the most successful I've ever been on Instagram. Now if you go on my Instagram account, because it's always linked in the description, you'll see that I have a lot of followers, but not a lot of active followers. That's because of that, because I had that fan account that was very popular. I think at the peak of it, when I stopped, I was at like 25k or something, which was pretty big for me back then. Of course, when I changed it to like a personal account, then a lot of people just dropped out. This was kind of my style. This was my style for a long time. The kind of like big eyes, trying to have like nice hair. But this one I remember, I think it's kind of like a bit crooked here, which was because my mom hoovered over it and it hoovered the picture, and I was so angry at her. That was like one of the big fights I remember with my mom when I was really small, was this picture. And oh look, a bit of a better picture. These here were stickers which I made for my Instagram fan account, and I wanted to do like a giveaway with them, but I never did it. This was like the beginning. This was one, I think this was like one of the first, under the first 10 pictures. And how I know this is because I drew square eyes That was my thing when I started out. My eyes were square, which is because I tried to get this style from the Inuyasha anime, and they don't have square eyes there, no, but they're kind of like a bit more square, and then I made them square when I was drawing because I didn't quite know how to round them out correctly and everything. I was just like, oh yeah, you've got these round things and then you've got rounding them top. It looks kind of like a square. Let's just do square eyes, and then you've got the light reflects and that circle in the middle. And you know what? Everybody starts somewhere, and I can proudly say I'm not drawing square eyes anymore. I improved a bit, as you can see. This was like more like 2013, 2015. This one I was so proud of. I googled like dragon and then I just put a girl on top. Oh, maybe if you want to see a video of me recreating my old art, I think that would be really fun. I had a big phase where I drew Harry Potter, the infamous hand picture. Now, this picture will mean more to you if you watched Fairy Tail. And I drew this, and my friend, every time she was over, she would make fun of this. Like every time. It was like, wow, this hand picture. Oh, here, we've got another Copic marker picture. As you can see, I didn't draw a lot with the Copic markers simply because I was so scared that they would run out. This was an original character I created for Fairy Tail because me and a friend, we were doing like fan fiction writing and everything. Look at this! It's a big bumblebee! So cute! This was like a comic idea or something I had for, what's it called? Competition, yeah. I actually entered a competition with this where you could win, I think, trip to Korea. I think I never sent it in, which I think is a good idea because I wouldn't have won anything with these bad pictures. I remember like spending a lot of time trying to think of the concept of. I don't remember what my concept here was, by the way. Now we're kind of entering random age, where I just drawing random things. But at least I was drawing, you know, like Hannah now is not drawing. I made like a sketch about that in my sketchbook like that, and then I drew it out with watercolor. But you can see me getting a bit better. Like this here looks okay, you know. But you can also see that I'm getting influenced by new things. Like this isn't, like this still has a bit of anime influence, because I think when you started with anime, like watching anime, doing anime art, you're always gonna kind of take that into your illustration style at least somewhere. Like these are random dated now. Now we can see we're transferring back. You can always see where, when I'm like square eyes, that's the very beginning. If it looks just really crooked, that's after that, and then slowly we're progressing into better. Oh yeah. Now we're also getting slowly into where I was starting to get more experimental with what I was drawing. Nowadays I'm doing much more like, what's it called, impressionistic style art. Like I'm not thinking as much more about realism or a bit more about what kind of feeling and emotion I want my picture to show. Ooh, a fan art comic with no words, but place for words. What was I trying to say? We'll never know. This was the time where I was getting more and more into illustration. I was following a lot of illustration style Instagram people, and I was trying to lean my art more into that direction, and you can definitely see where I'm like coming from. Like that's the whole Instagram illustration artist genre. And I don't think it's bad to take inspiration from things, because I think as an artist, as long as you don't take credit for something and it helps you evolve along the way, it's okay to take inspiration from somebody else. But I would never copy a picture of somebody, only for like practice and sketchbooks or something, but I never copied a picture and then title it my own. I only always drew inspiration from the art style, and then I let it flow into my own art style and became something totally different over the years. Because as you can see, we went through like 10 different art styles, and I always took inspiration from somewhere, but it always brought me somewhere else. And everything I did brought me to where I am today. So I don't think there is necessarily a thing as copying or stealing ideas. I think it's just helping you evolve as a person. Van Gogh didn't wake up one day and said, oh, this is going to be my art style. He evolved to that. He drew differently before, and then he found his style. And I think to find your style, it takes you a long, long time. And I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to find myself. Every picture looks totally different. Like even my impressionistic stuff, every picture looks so different because I'm not where I want to be yet. And I think if I'm there one day, I can look back at this and say, well, that was the journey, you know, that wasn't me copying somebody. That was part of the journey. Oh yeah, let's flip through some pictures just a bit more quickly. Oh yeah, more OG characters of anime shows. Ooh yeah, this is like 2016 now. Like this is like Yuri on Ice fan art that I was pretty proud of. I always wanted to be like a Tumblr artist. Like I was so jealous of all the people who were doing fan art on Tumblr with their drawing pads and everything. And now I have a drawing pad myself, and I sometimes do that, but I'm even worse at like drawing digitally than I am at drawing. But if I were to draw that on my drawing pad, it would be a 0 out of 10, and I would butcher it up completely. Before I really decided I want to study like graphic design, photography and video design, I always had these thoughts of I'm not good enough. Like, I know from Tumblr that there are fan artists out there that are so far ahead of me, and I'm over here trying to study this and make a living of this if I'm not even there yet. And I think this constant comparison is something that really even made me take steps back as an artist, because I was scared of drawing somehow, and of disappointing, and I still to this day have this big fear of sharing my art. I'm maybe going to talk about this a bit more in another video if you want to. If you maybe have the same feelings about your old art or your recent art that you don't really want to share it. I think there's no bad art. I think there's good art, of course. And everybody can do good art, but I don't think there is bad art. I think there's just like practice pieces. Before this gets any more confusing than it already is, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I would appreciate it even more if you give time, a second, something to give it a like. If you'd like to see more of this kind where I go through old art, because as I already said, I have a whole shelf of old sketchbooks. Maybe, yeah, you can tell me somehow in the comments or with a like, and I'll do that, definitely. And as always, bye, be back on my channel.